This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stifel Financial.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Keith Overby, your host for tonight's edition of Nevada County Now. The South Yuba River is a beautiful and inviting place. It can also be dangerous and even has led to fatal accidents. The river has strong currents, cold water, and unpredictable water levels. In addition to storms, with snow levels being so close, the snowmelt can affect river conditions very quickly. Now don't go away, we'll take a short sponsors break and we'll be right back with tonight's stories.
Thank you to Stifel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stifel.com.
River rescues are demanding and can be high risk. First responders spend hundreds of hours a year developing their skill in many facets of rescue, specifically for the canyon. With the wet winter weather upon us, the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services has approved the county's request to pre-position the Nevada County Consolidated Fire District Swift Water Rescue Team. This is a 6-member team that obtained specialized training thanks to the Title III funds provided by the Nevada County Office of Emergency Services. This team has been specifically designated to assist with water-related emergencies in the county or region. This is the first time the Swift Water Team has been officially activated through the Cal OES Master Mutual Aid System. The county also has added 5 additional staffed engines to our area. These resources are currently available in the communities of North San Juan, Ophir Hill, Nevada City, Peardale, Chicago Park, and Higgins. The message to those visiting the South Yuba is simple. Be aware of your environment, stay alert, stay out of the water, and stay alive. The Nevada County Health and Human Services Agency is operating a volunteer income tax assistance, known as VITA or VITA, which offers free tax preparation assistance and filing of simple returns. If you earned less than $70,000 in 2024, contact the Nevada County VITA tax line at 530-265-1727 for assistance with your return. HHSA will be making appointments February 3rd through April 7th, 2025. And tax credits can help working families and their communities thrive. Unfortunately, many taxpayers leave them unclaimed annually. This outreach event aims to bring awareness to the Earned Income Tax Credit, a fully refundable tax credit based on earned income. Your VITA tax credit amount depends on your annual income, marital status, and the number of qualifying children in your household. And this year, the program will operate primarily as a drop-off site. Customers can complete their intake forms, leave their paperwork with staff to complete the return, and come back to review and submit their return. Now, if you would like to make arrangements to have your taxes prepared or have questions, please contact the Nevada County VITA tax line by phone at 530-265-1727 or by email at eitc@nevadacountyca.gov. And did you know that the Sheriff's Office auctions off goods, including vehicles, trailers, furniture, and more? Now, part of the duties of the Nevada County Public Administrator is to provide services for the management of a deceased person's estate when no family or legal representation is available. They take on the responsibility of locating heirs, settling debts, and distributing any remaining assets according to state law. As part of this process, often items are auctioned off with proceeds returning to the original estate. And you can view their website by following the link posted to view all available categories and to ask further questions. And to participate in an auction, creating an account is required. And when making a bid, check back frequently to ensure your bid remains the highest. Restrictions do apply. Now don't go away, we'll be right back with some awesome guests.
From the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, a new hero will emerge. One who is ready. One who makes sure their friends and family are set. And has the power to go at a moment's notice. This fire season, you're the hero. We are Ready Nevada County.
All right. Welcome back. Our community is made up of so many awesome people. The 530 Recovery and Everything Off-Road Group is a nonprofit organization dedicated to environmental conservation and off-road vehicle recovery in the 530 area code, which includes Nevada County, California. Their mission focuses on engaging the community to maintain clean and accessible rivers, trails, and surrounding areas, fostering positive impacts within local communities. Now, here to tell us about their organizations and their cleanup efforts is Jenn Gaddis. So, Jenn, thank you for coming by.
Hi,
We're
thank
glad
you.
to have you here. Tell me what is 530 Recovery and I forget your whole title.
That's okay.
It had this long of a name, you know.
But I know it's quite the mouthful, but it's 530 Recovery and Everything Off-Road. 530,
Okay.
just like our area code. And it started out as just pulling people out that were stranded and stuck for free, and then being out in the recreational lands and everything with all the illegal dumping and abandoned homeless camps, and our location started getting shut down, a lot of BLM land, and so that started the environmental cleanups, trying to keep recreational lands accessible, open, and everything to the public, the community, and nobody likes hanging out by trash.
Well, no, not at all. Well, you're part of the organization as a chapter or whatever is right here in Nevada County.
Yes.
And how many other chapters throughout Northern California are there? Is there one in every county? Or
No, actually, the way it works, the organization was founded in Yuba County,
Okay.
in Olivehurst,
All
and then became a nonprofit in 2022. And we brought it up and began in Nevada County in 2023. So we have our Yuba Sutter chapters, and then we have our Nevada County chapter, but between those, we cover the entire 530 region.
Okay.
We have a Facebook with 10,000 members now, our Facebook page. And so people can go on, post a picture and a location of the situation, and help will be on the way. There are thousands of members waiting, ready with equipment and gear, and then that's where we also post all of our cleanup events. We do them every last Saturday of the month. And so we hold them. We also, in Yuba County, there's a cleanup every last Saturday, and then we hold it in Nevada County. We run.
I think I see pictures sometimes of some guy, like there was a guy that had a big Ford truck and he had it like high centered on where it dropped off. And he said, like, help, can anybody come out and help me? Would that be something you guys would pick up on and try to contact that person and
Oh, absolutely.
come help them? I
Yep.
mean, do you get your complaints, your complaints or leads or whatever you call them that way?
And a lot of people refer us. We even have U.S. Forestry and law enforcement will refer people to us. Where tow trucks can't and won't go, that's where we will. And our services are completely free of charge. We just want to make sure everybody's home at the end of the day.
I was going to say, does AAA call you guys when they don't have a four-wheel drive that can get into an area?
They often, the local tow companies will tell them, like, we can't do that, but contact these guys.
Okay.
And so we get lots of referrals that way.
this get started? Is there? I mean, I don't know how long have you guys been going? You said you became a nonprofit in 2022.
Yes, but it actually began back in 2016.
Okay.
Just as a group, not an organization. Dustin Dondevere is actually the one who founded and created, and he's the one who runs our Yuba County, and he's he unfortunately couldn't make it today, but.
Okay. Well, now you've spread out all over Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just through the Northern Sierra and the Central Valley, or you have chapters or organizations over on the coast?
No, but because we have so many members, we have about 10 of us that run the organization, but on the Facebook page, all the members that are spread throughout Northern California, there's people in all areas and crevices. We've even seen requests from the Bay Area.
Oh, really?
On our page, and it's like, well, if they're stuck and there's someone that just happens to be down there,
somebody who's in that area that could help them out.
Yeah.
Sure. Great.
So,
you said you're a nonprofit, so you said you do everything for free. I mean, do people contribute usually after they've been helped to your organization? I mean, at least pay for your gas or something.
Sometimes, we never request. There are the people who do offer a tip and stuff like that. Beyond that, we started doing school supply drives. We do Christmas toy drives. For this year, we did Community Beyond Violence, the local domestic violence program.
Oh, I see.
And supported them. We do free Halloween events and free Christmas events at Gateway Park in Penn Valley with Santa and the Grinch. And we do raffles and bake sales. We've even thrown in some car washes this year.
There you go.
Just trying, raising funds to keep going with what we do. So,
well, before we started, you mentioned an event that you'd done just recently. It seems to have caught everybody's attention. Suddenly everybody knows you're here. You mentioned something. What exactly was that event that you were involved in that brought so much public awareness?
That was actually our most recent cleanup. That was just on January 25th.
Okay.
There's an area that was brought to our attention by multiple people.
Where was that at?
This is up in the North San Juan area.
Okay.
And we went and took a look, and it was devastating. So the next Saturday, we went out for our cleanup day, and we pulled out 11,200 pounds of trash in one day, and we pulled out 15 burnt or abandoned vehicles that CHP will be running and tagging. We do work with CHP as well.
15?
Yes, and that's not even all of them. That's just all we could accomplish in one day.
There's still more sitting out there.
Yes.
Huh?
Oh, yes.
My gosh.
There are lots more. This one area is probably going to take us a good part of this year to clean up. It's not going to be a 1-2 time thing.
Now, do you partner with, say, locally here in Nevada County Waste Management to come bring you a garbage truck out, or?
No, we solely rely on us and our own equipment and trailers. Then we do have locals from the community that volunteer that, hey, I've got dump trailers.
Okay.
Or in like this most recent one, one of our newest Nevada County management team members brought in 2 dump trucks and an excavator and everything. So that helped us significantly get so much out in one day.
Okay. Well, we had a lady speaking to us about waste management, just one of our past shows. So it's like, maybe we should get you guys together.
Well,
here.
where we do collaborate with waste management is actually every last Saturday of the month. We have it arranged. We get slips, and everything we dump is free because we're a nonprofit organization.
Right.
So it doesn't cost us to go dump what we're cleaning up in the community. We give them the location of where it's come from, and
okay, so they are partnering with you.
They do in that way. We don't use them for equipment or anything like that, but they do fully support us trying to clean up Nevada County.
Have you ever coordinated with the Sheriff's Office or Grass Valley PD or something like that when they're doing homeless camp cleanups? Do you guys get called out on that kind of thing occasionally, or
no,
frequently, or occasionally, or whenever?
Those are usually within city limits.
Okay.
We do the recreational public lands.
Okay.
Whether it's hiking trails, the rivers, four-wheeling lands where, you know, people and families take their dirt bikes and stuff like that. We have been requested with Gateway Park in Penn Valley. They had some massive oak trees come down 2 years ago, and being the guys with equipment that like to pull stuff, they called us, and we were able to get these oak trees out and got them bucked down. We had a diver go in and run lines around. So we do get requested for help throughout the community, but that's mostly
All right,
the
good deal.
extent.
And so how many people are there in your local chapter? And you may have said that already, but I was just curious, how many folks are?
In our local, in the Nevada County chapter, there is 6 of us.
Okay.
And then we have 4 with our Yuba County.
And I'm sure you could probably use help.
Oh, absolutely. We are always looking for more involvement, people to join us, come do what we're doing. You know, we do so many different things. We even do free movie nights in the park at Gateway Park, just to try and get families outside. And we're always looking for any help between whether it's setup, cleanup, guys willing to do recoveries, stuff like that.
All right. This sounds like a great thing. So if any of you out there are wanting to get involved, you get a hold of Jenn. I'm sure she'll more than be happy to take your time. So, Jenn, do you have anything you want to add at the end here?
We have full website. It's 530recoveryeverythingoffroad.com. And people can, it's not just the Facebook, they can go see everything we do. You know, we fully do rely on donations to keep going and doing what we're doing.
Do you happen to also have a phone number they could contact you at? Or?
No, we have the way we have it set up on our website. They can contact us through the webpage.
Okay.
And we also have a donate section at the bottom where you can just click donate.
And that's on a website?
Yes.
And a Facebook page?
We don't have the donate on the Facebook page.
Okay.
That's just the website, 530recoveryeverythingoffroad.com. And that's where you'll find.
Cool, great. Sounds like you're providing a great service to our area here.
We're trying. We're trying.
Well, I hope this helps get the word out, and you'll get more volunteers because of listening to you and I talk today. You know.
But I hope so. We need more of the community to get involved.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you so much.
Thanks for what you're doing too for the community. So,
thanks for having me.
Folks, now don't go away. We'll come right back with another guest. All right?
If you are dining outside at a restaurant and someone is smoking a cigarette or using an electronic smoking device, you are being exposed to secondhand smoke. But what if you're in your own home and a neighbor's smoke is drifting in? Every person should have the right to live in a smoke-free environment to protect their health and the health of their family.
I live in an apartment and my son was coughing more than usual. I realized it was because our neighbor's smoke was affecting him. I tried putting a wet towel under the door and I asked the neighbor to please not smoke inside. He smokes outside sometimes, but the smoke still comes in. I'm really worried about my son's health.
People in our community are facing this problem every day. Often the residents affected live in apartments, condos, or other multi-unit spaces. Many people are unaware that all secondhand smoke is dangerous. This includes smoke from vapes, hookahs, and cannabis too. Take action today to help protect some of our most vulnerable community members from the dangers of secondhand smoke. Let's make living smoke-free an option for all Nevada County residents. Go to smilenevadacounty.com to share your story, get involved, or to find ways to quit. The Nevada County Tobacco Prevention Program is here to help.
One of our goals as an agency is to bring that awareness that in our community there's still needs out there for firewood, especially in the senior population, and that as together as a community, we can meet that need.
Each year gets a little harder and a little harder, but just seeing this, I feel like one of the lucky ones.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The Tiny Homes on Wheels ordinance was a big step by county supervisors at their January 14th meeting as one of the many ways we're working to address the housing crisis. The ordinance will go into effect on February 13th. Tyler Barrington is our subject matter expert on this if you're interested. And Tyler, let me know if you have any questions that you want to throw out there. But it's nice to have you here. We're glad you're here. And I guess, first of all, how about can you give us just an overview of what the Tiny Wheels Ordinance is?
Sure. Thank you, Keith. So the Tiny Homes on Wheels Ordinance is essentially allowing for tiny homes on wheels that meet certain design criteria to be permitted as single-family dwellings in all areas in the county that allow for a permanent single-family home. We'd also allow them to be a accessory dwelling unit or both. And then there's a few other caveats in terms of other ways that you could get more than one tiny home on your property.
Okay. You said tiny homes, there's certain specifications. Does they got to be so big?
Correct.
Not too big?
Yeah, so the county used essentially the state's definition of a park model RV to start with. And essentially it allows up to 400 square feet. It has to have a DMV registration, and so it has to meet the criteria so it can be pulled down the highway.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. How do people apply for this if they're in need of shelter, need of a home? Yep. Do they apply through the county for this, or how does that work?
Yeah, so essentially someone would be required to obtain a building permit to not so much for the home itself, that'd be inspected off-site, but you need a building permit for your connection to water, to sewer, or septic. You need a building permit for connection to electricity. You would need a fire-safe driveway, and then the building department would also inspect the tie-downs to make sure that the unit was properly connected to the ground.
Wasn't going to blow away or
Correct.
something. Not a tent trailer or something.
Not a tent trailer.
It's got to be more than that.
It does.
Are these usually like RVs?
They're not so much RVs. I mean, they meet a state definition of a park model trailer. They're RVs. They do require that they're built with 2x4 construction. They are required to be insulated. And so there's kind of two different things that were discussed during the ordinance process, and one of which was the tiny homes on wheels. Okay. And then there was some desire and discussion from the community about allowing for other recreational vehicles like motor coaches, cab over campers, fifth wheels. And that's something that the board has directed the county to look at over the next year and determine whether or not that those regulations can be put in place.
Okay. Now, tiny homes on wheels and ADUs, which are additional dwelling units, I think is the acronym, right?
It's accessory dwelling units.
Accessory dwelling units, okay. What's the difference between the two of those?
So there really is. I mean, accessory dwelling unit is a secondary home. And currently the county's codes allow for a secondary home not to exceed 1,200 square feet as a detached unit. A tiny homes on wheels could suffice as that accessory dwelling unit. So instead of building a traditional stick-built house for your accessory dwelling unit, you'd be allowed to go through the permit process and use a tiny home on wheels for that purpose.
Okay. I know my parents were snowbirds when they first retired, went to Arizona, and there was a lot of, they called them park models at that time, smaller mobile homes, I thought they were, but apparently that would be considered a tiny home on wheels. Now,
it would. I think what differentiates a tiny home on wheels from like a recreational vehicle or a standard park model is the construction type. But there's also design criteria that requires siding, requires dual pane windows with trim, and other things to kind of make the tiny home kind of fit more of a residential character.
Okay. Now, you're talking about if somebody puts one somewhere in the county. What about in the cities of Nevada City or Grass Valley? Do you have to go? Do the cities have processes in place to do this?
So it's my understanding that the cities don't currently allow for tiny homes on wheels. So this applies in the unincorporated area of Nevada County.
Okay. Now I also have seen on social media there's a fellow named and excuse me if I don't get his name right. He's Brad Pessimer or I don't know if I said that right or not.
Close enough.
But you obviously know who I'm talking about.
I do.
And I know he always says, hey, I got this RV donated. I need somebody to help me haul it to Nevada County. I mean, most of them look pretty decent. Like, I'd keep it for an RV and use it. But somebody donates it to him. Do you work with him at all, or how does that work?
So I don't know the specifically.
I don't know what his organization is,
Right.
or if it's just him.
I do know that Brad spoke at the public hearings, and so I kind of heard some of the stuff that he does. If he were to use a vehicle or a tiny home on wheels that met all the design criteria and was permitted, then we would work with him on that.
Okay.
But I don't know that these structures or these recreational vehicles he's using, whether or not those do meet the tiny homes on wheels definition.
Is for somebody to want to have one of these at their home, an additional dwelling or a tiny homes on wheels, is there a lot size minimum or something like that? Do you have to be on a half acre or just on a city lot sized, or what?
So essentially, you'd have to have zoning that would allow for a residential unit.
Okay.
And in Nevada County, virtually all of our zoning districts allow for you to have a single-family home or an accessory dwelling unit. So technically, your tiny home could be one of the two or both.
And how do people how do you find people that need to live in these? How do they come to you? Do you go to them? Is it part of through public health and their homeless outreach through Hospitality House or whatever? Is that?
So I think there's a misnomer that the intention of tiny homes on wheels was to solve the homeless crisis.
Okay.
Typically, these units, there is a cost involved in terms of providing septic and water and electrical connections in the unit itself. So the assumption is it'll be a private property owner that might come in, and maybe they have a house already and they're looking for somewhere to put up maybe their college age kids or maybe their parents, in a way to get them placed into a structure that could be permanent housing kind of right away, instead of going through the process of finding contractors and building and all that stuff.
Or maybe an in-law or something.
Correct.
Something like that, a grandparent. Oh, so this is more, tiny homes on wheels is more for family type situations than housing the homeless.
Correct. Yeah, I would think it would be more suitable for like workforce housing. Type of thing. And then, there are specific things that you need to do. For example, the way the ordinance is currently written, it doesn't allow for short-term rentals.
Okay.
And the idea behind that was, the intention was, we're trying to find housing solutions for locals that need long-term housing.
Okay.
And so that's one of the restrictions that was placed on it. It's very similar to what the Board of Supervisors in 2019, when we adopted a new accessory dwelling unit ordinance, they restricted short-term rentals of those units.
So now somebody that places one of these units on their property, they can charge rent?
Correct.
Okay, so I could put out a flyer and say, I have this park model, 1-bedroom, mobile home. Anybody's interested, I'll rent it for X amount of dollars, and they can do that.
Correct. I mean, I'd probably call it a tiny home on wheels.
Tiny home on wheels.
Because there is a difference between a mobile home and a tiny home.
Right.
But yes, and the county wouldn't be involved in that relationship between the property owner and who they desire to rent to.
Okay. And this is strictly, they got to be on wheels.
Correct. Yeah, it does require that the wheels remain. It does require some skirting around the wheels itself. And the county looked at about 5 or 6 different counties and jurisdictions that have already adopted ordinances in developing the one that we came up with.
Now, I know that I've seen on local news reports coming out of Sacramento, news stories about tiny homes, and they're actually like on a foundation. They're on a slab or something. They look like little cabins or something, but that's something totally different.
That would be something totally different. That would be subject to the California Building Code.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Anything else you want to add about this?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I just think that, the intention here is to take one step towards addressing the housing crisis. It's not meant to be the end-all be-all. It's not a one-shot solution, if you will. And it's a multi-pronged effort to deal with the housing crisis that we're seeing in Nevada County and California alike.
Well, yeah, the cost of housing is getting incredible.
It's amazing.
And not just the price, but when you throw in insurance and things like that, it's even more challenging.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Appreciate your time.
You bet.
And thanks, folks, for taking this opportunity to watch this edition of Nevada County Now. If you'd like to help contribute or write stories, appear on a show, or even become a host, check out the details on our website at nevadacountymedia.org/NCN. And this program is local news and information brought to you by local residents. Now remember to stay safe, take care of each other, and get out there and explore all this wonderful community has to offer. Good night now.